With numerous big-name restaurants around the globe, restaurants need to set themselves apart through reviews on review sites. Harmful reviews are much more likely to be submitted because they provoke stronger emotions. Positive reviews are also expected, therefore it is crucial to treat every customer with the utmost hospitality and service. You never know what customer can feel a certain way to go and write a certain review about your restaurant. Going above and beyond could be the difference in a top spot on review sites versus a below average rated restaurant fighting to pay rent. That is why at Tasteful Solutions, we will leave your customers with a tasteful experience to make sure your reviews are optimized. So here's a company background of Tasteful Solutions to make it feel a little more personal knowing our company and where it came from. So Tasteful Solutions was born from experience. All 5 members of Tasteful Solutions have been left with a bad taste from other consulting companies, and we all pooled our experiences to have this small business best interest in mind. The best consulting comes from those who have been in your shoes. As stated previously, all 5 of our members at Tasteful Solutions have dealt with poor consulting companies and seek to create a new consulting company for restaurants, keeping small businesses in mind. Our values are teamwork and success in our clients. They're both interwoven in our mission statement, which is through menu design, innovative recipes, targeted advertising, and financial advice, we ensure that our clients remain competitive and attract a steady stream of customers. We prioritize teamwork, customer satisfaction, and long-term growth for every restaurant we work with. A goal I specifically have for Tasteful Solutions is for us to be a top 3 consulting company for non-chain restaurants. And these topics discussed should motivate those looking for a consulting company for their restaurant because we all at Tasteful Solutions have been there. We have been in your shoes, too small or too big. We will help you find relief in your big business goals in a hospitable way. Also, your success is one of our values. If you aren't satisfied, neither are we, showing our commitment to our partnership. Hello, my name is Caleb Campbell, and I am the senior consultant here at Tasteful Solutions. I've been in the consulting world for a few years now, not too long. However, I've talked to and dealt with many experienced restaurants and more experienced consultants, so don't let my lesser experience distract you from my expertise. I have a bachelor's degree in economics, and my parents own a restaurant, which is where my inspiration comes from. And my lack of years' experience can bode well for those restaurants because I can provide a unique perspective on how to go about solving solutions. More experienced consultants may have routine approaches for problems, therefore, they may put a diagnosis on an issue that doesn't fit the shoe. Also, my passion for restaurants stems deeply from my family's restaurant, as I previously mentioned. I grew up running and mopping the floors, so these small restaurants hold a special place in my heart, and it gives me a determination to help my clients succeed. Now, I would like to introduce the restaurant I chose to review here at Tasteful Solutions. The restaurant I chose is the Dovetail, located in Macon, Georgia. Dovetail was established in 2012 after the relentless compliments they got on their sister restaurant, the Rookery. Dovetail is a part of the Moonhangers collection of restaurants. They serve Southern, farm-raised meat, and they add unique twists on legendary Southern cuisine such as deviled eggs, shrimp and grits, and catfish, just to name a few. There are a handful of Southern cooking restaurants, but the 2 that rival Dovetail the closest are Downtown Grill, and fried green tomatoes. Although Downtown Grill doesn't have the same menu type as Dovetail, it is another bar and grill in the heart of Macon, rivaling the hours and location of Dovetail. Next, Fried Green Tomatoes has a similar menu as Dovetail, sharing numerous Southern Cook menu items. However, few stated that it felt like fast food with a cafeteria atmosphere. Fried Green Tomatoes does not share the homey Southern feel Dovetail does. Now we are going to take a look at some of the strengths that Dovetail has, according to a review that somebody wrote. So this review was one of the most positive reviews of this year. It says the staff, food, and ambiance is top notch. They had a 16-ounce ribeye and it was amazing. I believe this may be the best restaurant in the whole state. So obviously high praise coming from Ricky. He says the staff, food, and ambiance are top notch. Now, I thought it was important to note that he said the staff first, so the staff stood out to him more than the food, which nowadays a lot of restaurants have great food. It's the staff and the ambiance that sets restaurants apart. So him noting that at the very beginning about staff and ambiance, as he mentioned, the food is crucial to a restaurant that is trying to set themselves apart from others because, like I said, a lot of places have good food. You need to separate yourself in those other areas, such as staff and ambiance. Okay, so this review was also just entails all of Dovetail's strengths when everything is firing on all cylinders. So this customer said they give Dovetail 5 stars for the first visit, which is really, really good, and they love the farm to table concept because it was really good and obviously support local businesses. So she goes and describes what food she had, and she said the food was phenomenal, the service was great, ambiance was great, literally everything was great. Like reading this might be her favorite restaurant. But anyways, I mean this just goes to show Dovetail, when they're firing on all cylinders, they are just a magnificent restaurant. And yeah, this person had absolutely zero things to say bad about it. Almost went back in the same day for it, which is crazy. Just high praise all around. This is the Dovetail that we want to see here at Tasteful Solutions. We want to see Dovetail just knocking it out of the park every day, every customer, and later on in this review, you will see the recommendations I have for this company. But right here, all praise, a lot of strengths right here. Next, we have some of Dovetail's weaknesses described by Ellen. So Ellen wrote one of the most impactful reviews recently, and it happened to be negative. Now that can have a huge impact on how people are looking at your restaurant. A recent bad review is never good. So let's see. Ellen said that her and her spouse, a little older, had to go up 2 long flights of stairs, they said, and management told them that they just decided to not maintain the elevator due to high costs. Now, that can be a problem, not taking into account your customer base and the physical condition that your customers are in. Coming into this can be a huge setback, huge weakness. Next, that she said that they had to wait in the stairwell with no bench. Now that's an easy fix. I feel like Dovetail can easily fix that. But that's still another weakness. Just again, not thinking about your customers when designing your restaurant can be a huge hit for sure. And also, they still, again, the staff were told, or they were told by staff that they could not look at the menu. So it just seems like they're really getting backlash from the staff, which is kind of contradictory to a lot of the other reviews that I saw. So it looks like consistency is a huge weakness in Dovetail's staff, honestly. And then they close it out. Ellen closes it out saying that she does not feel like her bill or her experience was worth the bill. Now that's a huge problem. I think, like I said, just getting that staff more consistent for sure could help a lot more in this weakness category. But yeah, you just got to keep your customer base honestly number one priority as a top-notch restaurant, because if you don't, you'll for sure fall in the rankings. We now have another review that reflects some of Dovetail's weaknesses. So Tonya reviewed, I took a snippet out of her review, but she said the service was not spot on to other places she visits. So that's just like the last slide, talking about that consistency in workers and your staff is a huge deal as a top restaurant. And then she also noted that the table beside them not only got there after them, however, they got their food before them and left all before their order got there or it just arrived, which is that's hard to see when you're hungry and you see other people getting their food and leaving before you. That is honestly just it's kind of irritating, honestly, as a customer. So got to get that consistency down. Consistency in every asset of your restaurant is a huge thing to get right. And then talks about their server disappearing in the bar area. Now, you probably that's kind of iffy. That's taking out somebody individually, maybe upping your interview process, making sure you're hiring the right people, the right dedicated waiters and waitresses for your establishment will for sure crack down that consistency. So it's kind of the same weaknesses as the last one, just reinforcing them. Honestly, just gotta get that consistency up for Dovetail. All right, so some opportunities for Dovetail. I took a couple excerpts from reviews, and yeah, so we're going to dive into those. But before, as mentioned in the weakness section, the out of order elevator causes a commotion in the customers. Many customers, not only the one we noted in the weaknesses, but many of them noted the broken elevator and the poor reviews. This creates a great opportunity and an easy opportunity to erase a prominent complaint among customers. The same customer wrote this in their review that they wrote about the broken elevator. They wrote, "Felt we paid almost $200 to be treated poorly, not the fun night out we'd hoped for." So, not a ton, but a few more reviews talk about their experience with the poor service at Dovetail. The opportunity to gain from this is just a consistent service crew, as we mentioned, because the reviews are either saying the service is incredible and that's the best that they've ever had, or simply that was lacking. So consistency and the service at the Dovetail would be a huge plus for the company. I mean, I can't tell you how many reviews would just be erased if the consistency was there for Dovetail. Another review that hints at inconsistencies that I have up here says, we had to send back 2 items that were not warm or was just not as advertised on the menu. So disappointing customer due to cold food or something that wasn't advertised accurately is such an easy fix if you get consistency in not only in the staff. We've been talking about the staff, but we also need consistency in the kitchen. If the kitchen's consistent, if the work or the staff is consistent, and you take the customer as the number one priority, I mean, that's all you can ask for in a top-notch restaurant. And these opportunities can be easily attained from Dovetail. They just gotta get consistent. Lastly, we have threats for the Dovetail. So I took a couple of excerpts from reviews that I saw, and I chose these two to go together because the common theme that I saw with the reviews, a lot of the bad reviews talked about service and the ambiance not being adequate to their taste. I saw that majority of the bad reviews said that, but a handful then brought in price with that complaint. So it feels like when they had a complaint rooted with the service and their expectations not being met is then when they brought in price. So it feels like that I've been talking about it the whole time, but if you just get it consistent, get your workers consistent, then you'll have less complaints about the pricing because they'll have such a good experience that they feel like the prices that they paid for the food was adequate. So into these comments specifically, our reservation was at 6. Entrees didn't arrive until 7, even though the place was empty. So this is kind of similar to a review we've already looked at about how other people got food before the people who had been sitting first. So, I mean, it's just crazy to see how some reviews praise the staff and ambiance of Dovetail. Absolutely praise it. It's their number one compliment for the restaurant. And then you have all these negative comments talking specifically about their service, about not being served in adequate time. So it's a huge threat, a huge threat. You have half of your customers coming and thinking, this place is great, the service is great, and I can't think of a better place. And then you have other people who, again, are coming for the first time and then getting left with a bad taste in their mouth about the service that they had. So you gotta crank down on that. You gotta get every server trained adequately. Interview process needs to have everybody legit, everybody wanting to help the company do good. So that's a huge threat when you have some people on one side saying one thing and then others saying the exact opposite. You gotta crank that down. So lastly, another threat that I saw for this company was their sparse menu. It seems like they don't have a huge menu and it isn't changed that well. So that's a huge threat for maybe not so much the people that come once, twice, 3, 4 times a year. That's not a huge threat to them, but it's a huge threat to the regulars that you have coming in multiple times a month and are expecting to try new dishes from your super high rated restaurant. They want to try different dishes. So you got to get like this review specifically says they change it up just enough to keep things fresh, yet after a year and eating there a few times a month, menu can get stale. So I mean, it's just exactly what I said. The regulars, if you're so focused on the people their first time, you're gonna forget about the regulars. You gotta remember the regulars. They're probably a good portion of your income. You gotta get that menu changed. Even seasonal would do a lot for the company. Just making the menu seasonal, switching up a little bit, just getting new items out there will set you apart from other restaurants. Build a SWOT analysis to show all the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that Dovetail has and may face in the future, and just some things that they need to refine if they want to get that remain at the top spot as restaurants near Macon. So a SWOT analysis is super helpful. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Shows you your strengths, things that you need to continue doing good on and people note, your weaknesses, what you need to improve on, what people notice in your company that you can improve on. Opportunities is like just easy things you can change. Just, I guess, change the operations of. It's not necessarily a weakness, but it can be. It's an opportunity to make it a strength. And then threats are those things, borderline weaknesses that you need to help, or not help, but that you need to work on in order to set yourself apart from the rest of the crowd, whether you're a restaurant or anything, just threats to your company's name and things you need to take seriously. So yeah, SWOT analysis, very helpful for any company. In conclusion, this shows just how much ratings affect companies and restaurants alike. As stated previously, great food is what makes a restaurant good. But the little things, the service, ambiance, etc., is going to be what separates your restaurant from the others and motivates those customers to write a great review, simply because of the amazing experience we aspire to help them have. And thank you so much to Dovetail for allowing me to take an in-depth consulting breakdown of their restaurant. A lot of praise is to be said for Dovetail. It's already a top restaurant in the state. Why not make it the nation? If you want to contact us over here at Tasteful Solutions, I have my phone number listed, email listed, and our website listed. And if you could, I listed our giveaway item, that Tasteful Solutions mug is available. And if you are a restaurant aspiring for greatness and need that little edge on the competition, feel free to contact our company, Tasteful Solutions. And thank you again, Dovetail, for letting us be a part of your journey.